Hello everyone, my name is Clara. Today we are going to be reading from this book right here, and we are going to read the story, The Beggar's Greatest Wish, written by Alice Berge and illustrated by Jim Roberts. Let's get into it. A man named Bartimaeus lived 2,000 years ago. That's a long time. His little house with just one room was down in Jericho. He woke on one bright spring morning when he heard the rooster crow. Do you know what a sound a rooster makes? Cock-a-doodle, cock-a-doodle. Outside his window, flowers raised their bright heads, one by one, and looked up at the sky of blue to greet the smiling sun. The trees were lacy, dressed for spring, in pink, white, and green. Birds hopped upon the soft new grass. The world looked bright and clean. See the little birds in this house. The world to Bartimaeus looked as black could be. His eyes were blind. The darkness was all he could ever see. If only I could see, he thought, as other people do. This was his dream, his greatest wish. But how could it come true? Now Bartimaeus kneeled beside the bed and said his prayer. He rose, he felt the tabletop, and found that it was bare. No food, he said. No food at all. No crust of bread. No tiny crust of bread. Poor Bartimaeus couldn't work. He had to beg instead. He put his old ragged coat, went out that cold spring day, tap his cane, went on the street. It helped him find his way. He shuffled on until at last he reached the city gate. Perhaps passerby would toss him coins so he could eat. It's probably the city right there, and it's on his way. He sat down right outside the gate, his cane laid at his side. Please help the blind, oh help the blind, poor Bartimaeus cried. Some people hurried right on by, with a glance his way. We have no time to bother with a beggar, not today. Some spit at him and shouted, Be quiet, hush, blind fool. All through the day he pleaded help. The crowd was harsh and cruel. Oh, they weren't very nice to our friend Bartimaeus. A rich man in a chariot drove by. Oh dear, he sighed, to see such poor men makes me feel a wee bit sick inside. A sorry sight, this man needs help. He tossed a coin before he hurried on. He thought, I've done my share to help the poor. God must be pleased, and surely can't expect me to do more. Blind Bartimaeus pulled his rags around him, looking sad. He shivered. Night was drawing near. One coin was all he had. Then Bartimaeus heard a rush of noise. What could it be? A crowd, and it was coming near. If only he could see. This crowd, what is it all about? Please tell me, please, he cried. They follow the one named Jesus, sir, a lad close by. That's the boy that was probably telling our friend Bartimaeus. What? Jesus, going by right now, he cried. How can it be? The one who heals the sick, God's son? Why? Why? He could make me see. The noise grew louder. How could he be heard in such a crowd? Oh, Jesus, Lord, have mercy on me, please, he cried out loud. He must make sure that Jesus sees him here. He must somehow. Have mercy on me, Jesus, Lord, he called out louder now. Keep still, blind beggar. People snapped, as cross as they could be, but he kept calling out louder, oh, Jesus. Suddenly, the noise stopped, and a gentle voice said, bring him here to me. Now people said, we'll help you, friend. Cheer up, he's calling you. Blind Bartimaeus jumped right up. Some helped him as he threw his ragged coat aside and went to Jesus eagerly. Why do you want me? Jesus asked. He said, I want to see. How sorry Jesus must have felt for one so poor and blind. He touched his eyes. See, Jesus said. His voice was soft and kind. The blind man opened his eyes. He saw a wondrous sight, the smiling face of Jesus, and he cried out in delight, I see, it's true. Oh, thank you, Lord. The people watched, amazed. Your faith has healed you, Jesus said. The crowd said, God be praised. Then Bartimaeus, following the master joyfully, told everyone, I once was blind, but Jesus made me see. I know that he can help you too, if he did this for me. And that is the end of our story here today. Just to go over what we read about today, all about Bartimaeus and how Jesus healed his sight. And surprisingly, this is not the only story that we read from the Bible about Jesus healing someone's sight and all the miracles that he did for those people when he was here on earth. Yeah. See you later.